Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the bipartisan leadership on the NASA reauthorization bill. I'm pleased to join you and Senator Cruz and Sinema to author the NASA Authorization Act of 2019. Among other things, this legislation would provide authorization for NASA's human exploration programs, including the lunar lander needed to return humans to the moon. There is agreement between the bill sponsors about how to proceed on the authorization, and I hope the Senate will consider this important bill this year. NASA's recent economic impact analysis shows that in 2019, the agency generated more than $64 billion in economic output, supported more than 312,000 jobs nationwide, and NASA and the space industry, particularly important in the state of Washington, where space activities account for $1.8 billion of our state's economy, with companies like Blue Origin, SpaceX, and Aerojet Rocketdyne. Thousands of Washington jobs are dependent on this growing space industry. I always say there's a reason we have the Space Needle. So 2020 was a significant year for NASA. For the first time in 9 years, NASA astronauts launched to space from the U.S. soil. And for the first time ever, those astronauts launched on a commercial spacecraft, marking the dawn of a new era for NASA. 2021 promises to be an even bigger year for the agency. 2 commercial providers will begin regularly carrying astronauts to the International Space Station. 2021 will also see the first launch of NASA's Space Launch System, which will return astronauts deep space in a few years. I am looking forward to watching Americans exit the lunar lander, which will be built in the state of Washington, and step onto the surface of the moon for the first time in more than 40 years. And I am very enthusiastic about the Artemis program, which will put the first woman on the moon. Now, we need more than just that women's first step. We need women and minorities to be represented at every level of the NASA and space programs. And so I look forward to working with you and the chairman on how we increase the diversity in all our aerospace industry. Given the many new rockets and spacecraft NASA astronauts will fly over the next decade, it's imperative the agency remain committed to safety. Safety must always be the top priority, and in order for that to happen, NASA engineers and program managers must have insight into the design and testing of new spacecraft. A major safety issue for NASA is the threat of orbital debris. Just last week, the space station was forced to maneuver away from a piece of space debris. In February, the committee held a hearing on threats to space, and I called for increased investment in mapping of space of debris and improve space situational awareness. So, Mr. Chairman, I know you are also committed to addressing this threat, and I look forward to working with you on that issue. While NASA's human spaceflight programs are often in the spotlight, the agency's other missions and research are also critical to the country. As I said, in Washington and many Western states, we face an unbelievable threat from devastating wildfires. NASA's satellites provide data that enables disaster management teams to measure the intensity and development of fires as they burn. And I also want to highlight NASA's Space Grant Program. Again, a consortium at the University of Washington is doing tremendous work to engage high school students and undergraduates in these areas of research and study, which I think just helps us get the next generation of workforce. The COVID-19 pandemic has impacted many NASA programs as well as the people who support them, whether they are employees or contractors or researchers. So I look forward to hearing how this committee might work with NASA to keep the program on track while keeping people safely employed. This is a challenge, but obviously we want to keep moving ahead, so we'll look forward to your comments and testimony, Administrator Bridenstine. So thank you for being here today, and again, Mr. Chairman, thank you for holding this important hearing.